You know what? The whole hurricane. This is no quiet storm. This is
It's a whole hurricane.
You know what? With Scooble, that's what it's become for me. To see how animated he's getting on the mound, to see just how technical he's getting with his craft, and with his skill set, man. It's been awesome to see his development. Before the season started, I was wondering, like, is it time for us to start saying he's on the level of some of the great pitchers that we've seen here during the last run? And I believe that person, Mr. Scooble, has absolutely cemented his place in this, especially with this Tigers run all season and now in the playoffs, man, bringing absolute dominance to the table.
Man, Tarek Skubal is the best pitcher in baseball, and he's ours. And you know what? If he keeps it up like this, he legitimately has a chance to be the undisputed MVP of baseball in terms of regular season and playoffs. Because what you've had the ability to do in these last couple of games is just put him out there, and you know that he's going to shut the opposing teams down. Think about this. In yesterday's game, 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, 5 1-2-3 innings, and both times that he got into a little bit of trouble, he induced a double play. What better can you ask for from that? And that's on top of the first playoff game for the Tigers in 10 years that he pitched, 6 innings, 0 earned runs in that one as well. So not only was Tarek Skubal the best pitcher in the American League by far, not only did he win the pitching triple crown, he has upped it to another level in the playoffs, going against the Astros, going against the Guardians, and making quick work of those lineups that are absolutely full of all-stars. And the thing is, too, upping your game in the postseason is not always easy. We've seen it with pitchers like Clayton Kershaw. We've seen it with pitchers like Greg Maddux. No doubt first ballot Hall of Famers that never were quite to the level of their regular season performance in the playoffs. But with Tarek Skubal, I mean, he's a 2.39 ERA in the regular season, and in the playoffs in the first 2 starts, his ERA is a big fat 0.
Woo.
What a weapon that he is.
It's a big fat what?
0.0.
Goose egg.
And think about this. I would love for the Tigers to win these next 2 at Comerica, but with what Tarek Skubal gives you the opportunity to do is if you drop one of those games, you got Game 5 at Cleveland on his normal rest. Do we trust Tarek Skubal to get the job done?
Damn right.
How could you not? So, as much as we appreciate Tarek Skubal, as much as we love him, as much as we've caped up for him to win the Cy Young, as much as we marveled at his pitching performances, because yesterday in particular, he had his best stuff, no doubt about it. I don't think people understand even just how much he's elevated his game and just how difficult that it is to do. And Tarek Skubal is shining in the postseason. He's better than he was in the regular season. He's better than the best pitcher in baseball in the postseason. Can't say enough about this guy.
Yeah, I see the chat here, too. I didn't even know it was going to go there, but people are saying, you know, JV struggled in his first couple playoffs. You're looking at Skubal right now rising to the occasion, and he's given the Tigers all season long the opportunity to be in the position they're in right now. I keep sitting here thinking, like, man, what if they would have lost 1 or 2 or 3 more of his starts during the regular season,
Yes.
and they have not been able to afford to lose any of his starts in the playoffs? Lock Skubal up.
Yes.
Lock him up.
No, absolutely. Lock Tarek Skubal up. And that's why, even though, you know, there's a lot of candidates for Tigers MVP this season, or Tigers, even if you want to go like Tigers MVP of the last couple of months, which in that case you could even go for Parker Meadows. The reality is that in days in which Tarek Skubal didn't start this season, and that goes through even their stretches where they were working wonders with the bullpen days.
Yeah.
They were still about a 500 team when he doesn't start, and about 10, 11 games over 500 when he does. He's your ace. He's gotten the job done all year long, and he is well on his way. And I know this is getting a little bit too predictive because, you know, you take it one day at a time. But just imagine if he keeps this up. You're talking about him potentially having one of the greatest postseasons individually by a pitcher ever. And again, long way to go. But he's well on his way. 13 innings, 0 earned runs in his first ever 2 postseason starts. Are you kidding me? What more could you ask for?
Hey, I'm seeing the pay demands in the chat. Throw the pay demands in the chat for our guy, Tarek Skubal. Pay that man. Pay that man. Pay that man. You see the effect that he's having right now. I know that they have a need for bats, but you also have a need for Tarek Skubal as well.
You do. But imagine this, and this is something that none of us ever envisioned. Imagine actually winning it all.
What?
With Tarek Skubal cheap.
Yeah.
You could actually do it.
This guy, man, like my name ain't Detroit Kool-Aid. I dream about winning it all.
Of course. I didn't want to say those 2 words because I'm not trying to jinx anything. But you actually have the opportunity this year.
Yeah.
Tarek Skubal is locked up for 2 more years, regardless of if you sign him or not. And you should and the Tigers should sign him. But one of the reasons why it was at a point seemed to be so imperative to either sign him long-term or trade him is that nobody thought that the Tigers would actually be in a position to win the big one with Tarek Skubal on this current contract, even for the next couple of years. But right now, they are.
Yep.
They've got the best pitcher in baseball. That's turning into maybe the most lethal weapon in all of the American League. If you throw Tarek Skubal out there and he's going to give you zeros, if you can throw him out there 2 times in a 5-game series, 1 time in a 3-game series, and maybe 2 or 3 times in a 7-game series,
you got a really good chance to win the series.
got a great chance.
Great.
You probably feel like you're effed if you're the other team. Or you have to be damn near perfect against non-Skubal stars. If you lose against the Tigers bullpen, you're probably real demoralized.
Yep. And you know what, man? I have a question I want to pose to you guys. I see you in the chat, Kiazi. This moment right here was epic when he was walking off the mound.
Yeah, waving
to the fans.
Yeah,
like
what's
let's
up
go.
with it? What's up with it?
And you know what? Now that he got a couple playoff wins under his belt, now that we know that man's going to win the Cy Young, Kiazi says, watch somehow, some way, it'll be some Jared Goff chance tomorrow at the Tigers game, LOL. Is it time? Is it time? Think about for what he's accomplished. Maybe if he beats the Guardians, is it time for Skubal chance?
Yes.
Has he reached that
Absolutely.
era?
Yes.
Then that's what I'm hoping
Yes.
is that at the game,
Yeah.
somehow, some way, Tigers fans, I know he's not on the mound, but give that man his flowers.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
Chance Skubal's name.
By the way,
we love Jared
ain't-
Goff.
ain't
No slight.
there will be no Jared Goff chance tomorrow, and that's no disrespect to Jared Goff. Look at what these Tigers have accomplished.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Nobody
talking
is thinking about the Lions right now, and it's crazy to say. Nobody's thinking about the Lions right now. They have earned this. They deserve this, and I promise you, Skubal, he's going to get some chance tomorrow.
It's time. Yeah, it's time to chance Skubal's name, man.
Yeah.
He's earned it. He's on
No.
that pantheon.
Yeah, he's earned it. He's the best pitcher in baseball. He looks to have even upped his game to another level in the playoffs. And like I said before, you've seen some of the greatest to ever do it. I mentioned Greg Maddux. I mentioned Clayton Kershaw. I see it in the chat that Justin Verlander is not a good World Series pitcher, although he had a lot of nice moments in the DSs and CSs. It's not easy. You're going up against the best in the world, and Tarek Skubal is making them all look silly. And that's the mark of an ace pitcher. And I know I've also seen this amongst social media. Doesn't it make it almost a little bit better that he's an absolute psychopath out there?
Yes.
I love it.
I love
it.
that.
I love the reactions, dog. Brandon Hassel says he is the Detroit MVP right now. That might be a conversation for another day. But for right now, he has all the Detroit buzzing, bro.
How could you not pick him right now? And I get it, we're all on Tiger fever, but Tarek Skubal, as far as the most important athletes in the city right now,
He's
he's got
certain squad.
Of course.
He's on track to be better than Verlander ever was. Now you're talking to a big Verlander
Remember
guy
when
over
we
here.
talked about it in the
You
beginning of
talking
the
to-
season? I thought it was a little blasphemous, and I was like, man, I feel dirty, but can we talk about him in this era? And Broder was like, sure.
Absolutely,
like, you know,
we can.
sure.
Because
Yeah.
think about Verlander's legacy. He's going to get retired as an Astro. He's not going to get retired as a Detroit Tiger, and that's a shame because of everything that he did for the Tigers.
Yeah.
But he won his championships with the Astros while still being one of the best pitchers in baseball in Houston. So he's not even going to be remembered as a Tiger. Tarek Skubal has a chance to really take that mantle as maybe Detroit's best pitcher to ever grace the
Preach.
diamond.
Man, hey, and
What a
it will go a long way if the Tigers can actually finish this off and Tarek Skubal stays dominant. Because I always hear, and this isn't a bad thing, by the way. It's just before my time. I always hear people talk about Mickey Lolich in the '68 World Series and just how dominant he was. Just imagine if Tarek Skubal can have a dominant postseason while also being a dominant regular season pitcher as well, which Mickey Lolich was not. He was good, but he's more famous for the '68 World Series.
Yep.
Imagine if he gets that. And just one little tidbit before we move on to another one who deserves his flowers.
People are talking about it in the chat. They're
Yes.
like, yo, where the carp love?
Oh, it's coming.
on the way.
It's a 2-hour all Tigers show, so it's coming. Tarek Skubal's ERA this season was lower than in Justin Verlander's MVP season. And I get it. It's 240 to 239, but still, that season in which Justin Verlander had holds a lot of weight and is looked at in a lot of lore when it comes to Tigers fans, as it should, because pitchers never win MVPs. Statistically, in some ways, Tarek Skubal's season this year was better. And 13 innings scoreless to start out your playoff career, I mean, that just builds your legacy up and makes this year shine even more.
Lock him up, bro.
Lock him up.
Lock him up. There's no longer a question at all. I guess the only question is when you do it. But at this point in time, he's proven that he's worth the bag.
Yep.